Halo guys, welcome back with me Darkojie.
Gila, Darkojie live stream aku. Darkojie live stream aku nonton aja lah.
Bangsat.
Nonton aja.
Oh gitu. Let's go
GPP.
to the stream
GPP.
with Oni Squad.
The GPP.
Ayam the King Emon, gila Emon, bintang Emon ya bang.
Waduh.
Kerat.
Harga pasar kok naik.
Ih, ngapain kocak kemarin kan? Goblok.
Kocak gaming, kocar kacir gaming gamer.
Belum dibales.
Salah satu
Sabar.
Sabar dong.
30.
Step di Heaven Stair kenapa jadi?
Nah, ini kan enak.
Itu Jetran NK anjing pakai spektar aja.
Gila lagi suka banget.
Kita range dulu aja. Win mereka deathmatch.
Mapping.
Invite kopi. Add kopi.
Gosong bung.
Kita
HP saya. Tadi mati lagi semua. Gue mati.
makanya gol 1 bang, kok itu gol 5? Itu kok golden win pin. Pin lagi. Pin.
Apa?
Itu kok golden win ranknya?
Enggak tahu aja. Ada silvernya dong berarti.
OLP.
Golden wing.
Golden Win berarti Radian deh.
Api.
Enggak, radio.
Invite.
Suara lu jauh lagi, Ji.
Halo. Invite.
Oh,
Enggak mau.
sabar.
Anjing geser deh.
Ih, bagiannya kompetitif banget.
Bacet deh.
Kanan upin.
Ya gua, Ji.
Lu grand bagus sih gampang RPK.
ID-nya berapa tadi?
Grand bagus.
Anjing.
Grand bagus. Grand bagus. Tagline.
RPK.
Udah tuh ada nggak?
Ada.
Oh, gue single kill terus ya.
Delay berarti. Aha, menang.
0,2.
Apa?
0,8.
Aku ngomong kayak disekat ya? Oh, Dapin mainnya jongkok ya. Oke, Pin.
Ya gimana ya?
David pas itu ngomong, Pin. Orang yang pakai fitur jongkok di red map itu adalah orang-orang
Anjing kaget gua.
Oh, nggak kaget ya itu.
Bisa aja.
Kita kaget, parah.
Enggak kaget. Orang udah tahu ada stepnya anjing. Kaget gimana goblok?
Bentar aku mau main Pop Owi, Cok. Pop Owi. Wow, kaget.
Ya Allah. Udah bener spray gua.
Kok nggak ada Bali provinsinya? Iya. Kaget.
One kill deh.
Cok. Anjing. Aku sangat suka game Pop Owi.
Aduh, one kill deh setnya. Jangan kasih deh.
Kaget. Kaget.
Nah.
Diam dulu, cuy. Aku lagi main Pop Owi.
Kok offline lu? Pi?
Udah apa?
Hah?
Oh, udah.
Kok provinsi pemakar. Waduh. Serunya, Cuk.
Yang web itu ya deh.
Iya. Lihat aku bentar.
Mana. Coba.
Lihat, kita patahkan tangan. Saya siapin.
Mana Valorant?
Valorant nanti.
Nah,
Lihat nih pindah tangan.
enggak kan sabar suaranya.
Orang bandar, Win.
500 deh.
Ya, rusak maksudnya. Kadrun, Pak.
Kaget. Sembarangan mandi sumpah.
Ini, Vin. Lihat nih, PS-nya dulu, Vin. Sampai website-nya rusak ini, Vin. Seribu ya?
Blocking sight.
Wih, pemakar handal.
Lagi deh.
Sampai pemakar handal.
Blocking sight.
Ting lah depan rumah.
Tiba-tiba bakso.
Wih, nge-freeze. Oh, enggak.
Mana ada belum?
Tiba-tiba kan
Berantem,
bakso.
maju.
Kok nge-freeze ini ya?
Let's go.
Bakso. Teng.
Ready?
Invite.
Bakso.
Ready?
Udah.
Masya Allah, itu
Kaget.
apa deh?
Go.
Buset gold
Apa?
semua.
Game
ampun,
apa ya yang ready gua aja?
Kaget.
Mirip lagi usnya.
Mirip lagi.
Kaget.
Oh iya tuh mirip anjir.
Kok kau yang nggak mau? Kok nggak mirip tapi deh?
Nggak tahu, kok tanya saya.
Kayak ada ininya gitu loh deh. Ada apa bagian belibetnya gitu loh ininya ngomong. Mana?
Nggak tahu, tanya saya.
Bukan. Sabar.
Apaan? Ngomong kaget.
Ya nggak tahu.
Nggak tahu, sampai tanya saya.
Tanya saya gitu.
Saya tahu, tanya saya.
Tahu, tanya saya.
Tahu, tanya saya.
Kan you makan pepaya. Ya tak tahu, tanya saya. Ya tanya bapak, jangan tanya saya.
Ya tanya bapak lah, jangan tanya saya.
Alhamdulillah.
Siapa suruh kamu tanya begitu? Lupa. Kenapa kamu tanya begitu? Siapa yang suruh?
Itu orang udah tahu suka kecebong. Nah, kan cuma suka, cuma bapak sekarang melihara lebih banyak lagi. Gitu. Ada satu kolom buat kayak kecebong aja. Cuma buat kecebong. Setiap 2 minggu ngambilin kecebong. Iya, mau dipindahin nanti jadi kodok tuh. Nanti ada terus kecebongnya. Makanya bapak suka banget sama kecebong. Kenapa ya kok suka kecebong? Orang tuh biasanya suka
Ya tanya
kucing
bapak
gitu
lah,
ya.
jangan tanya saya.
Kok ini suka kecebong tuh kenapa ya? Kita tanya bapak, jangan tanya saya.
Ya tanya bapak, jangan tanya saya.
Ya tanya bapak, jangan tanya saya.
Match found.
Mas Fok.
Remote AC
kaget.
ku gaib aja hilang. Oh ini.
Ayo, saya patau hilang.
Kaget. Itu kagetnya kenapa ya deh? Gue lupa nih.
Kan ada dia dibicarakan di beritain di siap. Terus tanya gimana evaluasi Pak Jokowi pas tahu dicatat. Kaget. Kaget.
Wow.
Waduh.
Waduh. Mohon
Ada
maaf.
yang lagi live ya.
Mohon maaf, saya takut loh ini. Hei.
Saya lupa dia live.
Kalau nggak ada, walaupun nggak ada yang nonton tapi ada jejak digital loh ini loh. Mohon maaf, tetap takut loh.
Gak apa-apa kan Made.
Aduh.
Kan mati.
Yang ini ya Pak, orangnya Pak ya, bukan saya Pak. Bukan saya Pak, orangnya Pak.
Udah namain gamenya pakai nama orang,
Iya,
suaranya pakai suara orang.
iya makanya Pak, ya Allah.
Astagfirullah.
Gimana deh?
Astagfirullah. Kayak
Apa
ikut-ikut.
excuse-mu deh?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
hidden from me. Nothing.
Gila, ada smoker bang.
Itu jet smoker.
Masuk B aja udah.
Nggak masuk B itu. Enemy 5 cm masuk B ada loh. Nggak ada smoker kok.
Nggak bisa smoker gua. Sumpah.
Enggak. Apa yang tidak membuatmu bisa?
Ya lu pakai lah.
Pasti bisa. Baru tadi kan ngomongnya.
Mikey.
Mana Mikey? Itu sana Manjiro.
Sanon. Sana.
Aduh, ada Mikey.
You've buried your secrets well, Cypher.
Kamu anime ya?
But I'm a hunter, and I will find them.
Kenapa ini kok grafiknya keren? Oh kan.
Gue penasaran pakai high semua dah.
Yakin. 80 FPS approve.
That
Habis
goes
sih.
there.
Ya emang sabil.
Wow, this is a nice spot. This goes here.
Satu taruh sini. Ininya apa
This
tuh?
should do.
Smoke-nya itu lo taruh sini satu Ji. Beli 2 smoke.
Cuma dapat satu doang.
Wow, this is a nice spot.
Ya, biar nanti di side-nya nggak ketahuan yang mau masuk keluar. Ya, kameranya nggak dipasang.
Lupa gua lagi.
Mereka ke B ya?
Kebetulan sih.
Betul lah B-nya. Turun aja deh, turun.
Astaga,
Healing.
Mati gua. Lupa.
udah tak heal.
Oh makasih. Bentar balik lagi.
Astagfirullahaladzim, satu low.
Cage trigger.
Keskup.
Spike
Oh, gila.
planted.
Link of Nangata.
Hahaha.
Player
Anjing,
standing.
jet gua depan.
Mantis deh.
Daripada koru, cok. Daripada ngedead, sumpah. Males aku.
One enemy remaining.
Heaven ya?
Heaven.
Belum City.
Ada nggak suara gue in game?
Ada.
Sek.
Clutch.
Nice!
Bacot deh, anjing.
Anjing kuping gua rusak deh, anjing.
Jet.
Ya,
Mama,
were
aku jadi
amazing.
selalu hype.
Mama, aku di TI.
Mama aku di bandara udah pulang.
Mama, aku di TI.
Siapa?
Itu loh.
Seper.
Seper. Kamu nggak tahu, Bin?
Bukan. Yang ngomong gitu siapa?
Masa nggak tahu?
Seper.
Iya, gue tahu. Dari mana suaranya?
Dari Mapixel.
Oh.
Mama, aku di TI.
Iya, Mama.
I know that. Langsung kata caster. Kata
I know
MC.
that.
MC aja. Kata hostnya.
Gila.
I can't use.
Oh yo.
I can't use.
Enggak, kok.
Kok polos banget sih anjing goblok.
Spike planted.
Itu setnya Darkojie namanya. Apa gua?
Yikes.
Wih, jetnya pasti coba kayak koru. Aktif.
See ya.
Reloading.
Satu di backup. 2.
One enemy remaining.
Mana sih?
Ayo.
Backshot.
Last player standing.
Gila. Mama, aku di TI.
Punya gua ada blast speed.
Mama, aku udah di bandara.
You failed. Now flee.
Satu bantu di bed dong. Enggak jadi deh, mereka tak kayaknya.
Look at me. I know that I am by your side.
Nih.
Alpi
Can
ganteng.
someone get this?
Baca.
Seneng dia terpakai gitu.
Baca.
Langsung
This goes
thank you.
here.
Pakai gue ngomong gitu. Gak beli shield.
That goes there.
Bonus.
Oh iya, oh iya.
Oh, this is a nice spot.
Aneh.
Juga.
Kok di mid, Bang? Oh,
Camera taken out.
oke sekarang.
Trip cage triggered.
Viewer ya.
Bawa lagi. Bawa lagi deh.
Omennya. Oh,
Spike planted.
Oke.
Kamu nggak taruh terkoyak sama sekali sih.
Udah. Hancur.
Revealing area.
Enemy spotted B.
Right here.
Ayo benar.
Headshot.
Digeret.
One enemy
Lah,
remaining.
geret.
Garis las.
Udah
Tapi
lah
aku di-
tipis aja, Cok.
Here.
Devis. Malah kabur anjing semuanya.
Oh, berarti ada apa nanti tutup aja hemat kuota ya. Emang kuota lu, oh lu di Bekasi ya? Akasa lagi di Bekasi ya?
Iya, Kakaknya di Bekasi, guys. Sedang menguruskan badan katanya.
Iyalah.
Wow.
Hot spring katanya. Ya, so ya.
Wow.
Itu player ini kan yang
This should do.
apa?
Dota.
Player Dota kan?
Iya, yang
Iya.
internasional.
Iya, in.
This goes here.
Siapa sih namanya?
Sebut.
Seper.
Sebat.
That
Ya,
goes
betul,
there.
Seper. XHEPR.
Oh.
Halo Om Koji, halo Mutia Aulia, baru kelihatan lagi.
Nggak jadi.
Wah! Di Aji anjing emang.
Iya,
Iya.
Dua di B anjir.
Yang bilang dia siapa?
Ini siapa yang ngomong di Aji?
Iya, Ji katanya. Bukan
Iya, Ji.
dia.
Oh.
No charges left.
Anjing.
Masya Allah.
Spike planted.
Atau di mid ya?
Iya.
Dehidrasi.
Kontil, bawah lu ada satu.
Last player standing.
Oh,
Salah denger gua gara-gara Made.
Continue to give us vision, Soba.
oh jadi salahku.
Enggak salah gua. Enggak, gua salah denger doang.
Yang merasa kaya.
Gak ada yang kaya. Tolong.
Oh, this is a nice spot. Yes, this should do. This goes here.
Nggak tahu.
Fotonya.
That goes there.
Mid.
Comment, wih, comment, wih.
Kapit.
Sibuk deh, udah lah.
Buru
3 itu. Satunya di
Iya.
sini.
ada. Salah. Kiri.
Satu di kiri.
Tripwire destroyed. Cage triggered. Cage triggered.
Kena.
Side-nya tolong.
Spike planted.
Bunuh langsung.
No hard feelings.
Jarak.
Tuh biasa. On backside.
Komennya nggak tahu kemana.
Komen di event.
Aduh.
Kontil.
Loh,
Last player standing.
enggak mereka nggak plannya. Tak beneran. Orang mah plannya di ujung, Pin.
Just,
Baru tahu.
you know, from the front.
Ujung sini mereka di tengah. GG lah.
Enggak
Loh,
apa-apa.
loh. OP siapa itu?
Sampai gua jatuh. Gua mau jual lagi. Gua mau jual lagi. Salah pencet gua anjing. Sumpah mau gua jual lagi.
Waduh, kayak OP dia.
Nggak sengaja. Masuk. Hah? Kunci motor, bentar.
Lihat mid terus ya dia.
Iya, mid nih.
Di belakang udah.
Kalau gua flash lu nge-pick ya deh.
Hah?
Mereka balik ke pick.
Bareng. Kita pick bareng.
Mereka clear.
Oh, ya wes. Udah pakai.
Darkojie itu.
Sabar.
Spike down B.
Terusnya
Apaan?
Oh,
You will not kill my
Vape
allies.
burung vape kagak, Maunya apa? Nggak ada apa-apa lu tadi.
Block inside. Reloading.
handphone kayaknya belum.
Dibeli gua dong.
Confirm mid.
Kau juga terlalu anjing. Deh, ambil ini deh.
On
Star.
telepon.
One city.
30 seconds left.
One city.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Saving operator maybe. Oh, banget kesalahan.
Gua kira kanannya kosong.
Apa?
Makanya gua nggak lihat kanan lagi.
Alhamdulillah.
Stay alive. I want their life,
Thank
not
you.
yours.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jangan prepare dong.
Yes, this should do.
Kayaknya Anya nggak langganan Davin.
Ya coba recon mid Om.
Dari kon mungkin dia yang masuk.
Sabar deh.
Loh, habis pelan dong.
Nggak, sekarang di A, Mataram.
Sekarang di ini udah di kedin itu.
Cage trigger.
Reloading.
Spike planted.
Hostile removed.
Kayaknya anjing.
Here. Here.
Ya kapin.
Satu. Viva saja. Kalau mau bet, gak apa-apa.
Give me. Where is everyone hiding? There is.
One enemy remaining.
Under lah. Woi, low kali 117. Yo,
Ya gua lo.
Last player standing.
Loh,
Darkojie.
Divis udah setengah ya.
This is no problem.
man. Oh iya udah.
Never stop Divis.
Kamu mau kasih tahu Koji pistol. Kalau kagak tuh tetap di reload sama dia anjing.
I hate to say it, but
Kalau kagak
best
tuh
to play as a
di
team.
reload aja tuh kagak diganti.
Gak apa-apa, Pi. Nggak boleh dikasih tau Pi Diamond.
Wah,
Kan
sorry
diamond.
deh.
Tuh,
Diamond
lihat tuh di
yang
atas
berapa
diamondnya tuh.
Sorry deh, Diamond.
Anjing.
Di diamond mana pakai smoker ya, Ping ya?
Sini.
Buka ya.
Gua
Goblok.
Here.
Apa salah?
Reloading.
Sekarang lagi.
Spike planted.
down. Scanning ahead. Found them.
Pilar 1, backup 1.
Last player standing.
Ini salah gua.
Hai.
Salah gua.
Hebat.
Race it to the spike sites.
Ayolah Jet. Naik Jet.
Kena air boost ya.
That goes there. Yes, this should do. This goes here.
Malah di sini sekarang.
Kenapa?
Mana?
Wah.
Udah dekat itu.
Multiple enemies A. Reload.
Ah, togo. Hit 40 gini.
One enemy remaining.
Last side.
Halo.
Oh, sol. Ya, diambil.
I know what must be done.
Gak beli slow ya, Bang. Saya terkena tekanan ekonomi.
Ah, this is a nice spot. That goes there. Yes, this should do. This goes here.
Bebe. Ada slow lagi.
Masuk aja deh.
Tripwire destroyed.
Itu di garage.
Spike down B. One
Wah,
enemy
anjing,
remaining.
masuk. Belakang dalam.
Masya Allah.
Atau lihat Evan.
Kanan lu. Sorry, kanan Jet, sorry.
Gapnya kayak
Dia tai.
wah, sol gila.
Just let them try.
Rudy.
Rudy nggak pakai ini aja.
Sol kan waktu itu, manfaatnya.
Rudy glitch kok.
Oh,
Ayo lo, yang mana ayo?
duanya bisa kok.
Thanks.
PISM. LY. ILY.
Ah,
Nah,
this is a nice spot. That goes there. Yes, this should do. Revealing area.
Reloading.
Cage triggered.
gitu hobi.
You will not kill my ally. No enemy say.
Camera.
Heaven 1.
For you, reloading.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
Kelasnya sat.
Oh yakin saya. Untung ngeliat heaven anjing. Untung mouse-ku gak nyangkut deh.
Blasphemous.
Lu ganti mouse apaan, Pin? Pin? Oh, udah ganti
Last
mouse apaan?
round in the half.
We cannot
Ganti mouse apa?
after this.
Rak.
Spend all.
I need this.
Yang terakhir tadi siapa?
Mouse yang tidak direkomendasikan oleh Made,
My
tapi
thanks.
gue beli tetap.
Apaan tuh?
Iya, pukul sini.
Model low wireless.
Anjing, nggak enak itu.
Enak.
Apa,
Cuman
anjing?
enak. Cuman apa tuh?
Bolong-bolong aja.
Ringannya setengah-setengah gitu deh.
Gue sih kurang.
Enggak gitu.
Kalau
Udah
keringanan
bolong,
justru nggak enak, Made.
This is a nice spot.
Kau
Cage trigger. Required
kalau
destroyed.
keringanan tuh kontrolmu susah.
masa.
I can't use that.
Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Sampai aja tuh, sampai.
Enemy spotted B.
Spike down B.
Dikit aja deh.
Dia pakai shotgun anjing
Nice,
punya
nice.
tek maranan kan, you know?
Nice.
Halo ranen kan. I love you, mom.
Midnya ada nih. Bisa kak? Ayo kak kita.
Mau
Pakai
pakai
apa sih,
koneksi
Luffy?
Bonix lagi dong? Nggak mau.
Where is everyone
Mana spek? Mana ada
hiding?
spek?
Mid satu.
Pakai
Masih.
makan.
Apa sih?
Kanan.
Ya nggak apa-apa. Aku mau lewat aja.
One enemy remaining.
Udah nggak sas.
Salahnya di A. Belakang sih.
Scanning ahead.
Balik dia.
Stay bed. Nice.
Nggak mau ya pin SOL tuh di spray
Switching
enak.
sides.
Di spray di cat.
Sama kayak River dia soalnya beratnya.
Emang aku nggak suka Reaper.
Ya kau nggak kebiasa soalnya.
Serem Reaper. Green Reaper gila. Ngakak sampai jadi.
Salah semua deh.
Wow.
Yang nggak enak di spray itu apa? Glitch pop nih.
Loh, aku malah enak.
Sama
Aku Reaper.
sama ini apa? Sama Prime.
Oh iya, Prime emang. Aku Glifop yang spray sih, Cok. Warna-warna biru itu loh enak. Coba.
Glitch pop tuh gue cuma suka
Lagi
Phantom,
main
warna merah.
bentar.
Ayo,
Apaan?
Pi.
Ayo, Pi.
Jemur baju, Pi. Udah malam, Pi, jemur
I will
bajunya.
find you.
Anjing.
Tidak.
Scanning ahead.
Kosong.
Ya benar dua kayaknya. Kita nungguin jet aja.
Ya benar ada satu.
Dua. 3 fix B.
Baru satu.
Cage triggered.
Ada. The fuck is this wall?
Ini,
Sky.
nice.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Udah masukin.
Walmin. Ya udah.
Gua hold city.
Satu jaga sini.
Here.
Revealing area.
Reloading. Enemy spotted B.
Sorry, Jet.
Nah,
Required
it's okay.
destroyed.
Nah, keluar juga akhirnya suaramu babi. Liatin Heaven.
One dead.
Gila, Darkojie ini.
One enemy remaining.
Last Heaven.
Akhirnya lah
One tap.
7 di atas.
Mantap.
48 ya.
Kalau mau ngepick double.
Teori ancaman. Dia bingung tuh. Kayak pas itu. Pernah di double pick.
Makin jauh kita double picknya semakin enak.
We got this.
Ya, karena makin
Masa.
kaget dia. Semakin menjadi pop awi.
Masa.
Masa di double.
Enggak, aku sih di halaman rumah apa gitu. Jadi channel
Barbekyuan.
keluarga. Enggak. Bikin bigul.
Masuk akal.
Masuk lah.
Ini what the fuck wall?
Enemy spotted me.
Oh enggak, kalau hancur nanti ada orang di sini.
Here.
Enggak tahu lah.
Ada emang ada.
Reloading.
Ada Rena. Rena mid.
Tahu.
Iya bentar. Bentar.
Dan mati loh, Ji. Spectre.
Enggak.
Wah, shotgun tuh. Oh, nge-lag sih.
Len.
Dapat gua.
Here. Reloading.
Bapaknya.
Charges left.
Enemy spotted C.
Under satu.
One enemy remaining.
Nice. Pelan.
Plan B.
Enemies close. Eyes up.
Mid nggak ada ya?
Berarti B aja terus kalau B-nya masuk.
Gue pikir
Midnya jarang ya, Phil?
enggak
Rena
ada
selalu
Leslie,
Enggak.
Rena.
Leslie matamu, Leslie anjing.
Kalau saya di sono kayak gosok dat,
Shot dat dong, shot dat.
tapi jarang.
Shot dat. Bahasa
Oh.
itu bunduk.
Revealing area.
Reloading.
Cage triggered.
Yang kena shock Darkojie nangis.
Jika spike.
Mereka di gua anjir.
You're done.
Jatuh kan kau mampus.
Rena deh.
Spike down mid.
Spike di gua.
Belakang satu.
Anjing. Belakangku satu kau nggak lihat?
Last player standing.
Abet. Salah gua.
One enemy remaining.
Deko sama montek. Sambil terbang lo itu resnya.
If you're not a good
Keren lo
shot
padahal.
today, don't worry. There are other ways.
OP. Ayo bang, kill.
Mantap.
Ya. Yuk, gila, montek nih. Montek.
Allahu Akbar.
Kalian di A loh, aku di B sendirian loh.
Salah siapa? Montek apa?
Ya kan deh,
Kita mau menang.
tiba-tiba.
Loh, ngepick lo itu jetnya nggak? Ini. Molek.
Mana lagi, Cok? Dekat. Bener aja. Nggak ada yang lihat belakang. Masya Allah.
Suwur.
Gua juga suwur.
Nggak mau kesana nih bang.
Duga deket banget.
Pelan, gua juga suwur.
Tuh.
Our spike carrier is killed.
One enemy remaining.
Galas
Spike down A.
Gelap, Koji, sabar menunggu seperti menunggu seorang wanita.
Oh, udah ada. Mampus.
Tiba-tiba dia salah tembak, matilah gitu.
Awas di mid sih. Dari mid.
Wah, dingin pil, udah 30 AC-nya.
Lewat sama Koji.
Last player standing.
Astaga.
Nggak lewat anjing, emang nggak lewat situ dia. Apa gua?
Jangan pin.
Match point.
Her head is in the guillotine. Now pull. Can someone get this?
Gak ada duit deh.
Astagfirullah.
Spectre ya. Nah,
Sabar, Cok.
kau lawan
Enak.
Kayo tadi kalah ya?
Oh, kaget aku, Cok.
Udah
Udah
run
mentok
end kan lawan Baki kalah.
Keyboard masalahnya, pin.
Revealing area. Found them.
Kayaknya deket. Harusnya kalau gini deket lagi dia.
Shotgun kali. Mungkin.
Wah, ada orang turun.
Ada.
Alfi.
Here.
Ini satu.
Camera is destroyed. Our spike carrier is dead.
Aduh, Ares
Spike
game.
down A.
I have the spike.
Halloo.
Last player standing.
Goblok. Panik. Si panik.
Semua dipencet, Bang.
Gua mau mencet.
Ya pencet ngambil orb aja. Ajep.
Gua mau mencet itu gua. Quick fire gua.
Iko.
Saving.
Malah kepencet ini.
Saving.
Di bawah deh.
Aduh, aku lapar banget lagi. Makan dong kali. Duh, sekarang Udah kayak dapin nih, Pin.
Hah?
Mau makan harus ke bawah dulu, males banget turun.
Jadi salahin David.
Nah,
Alpi gua mau
bawah.
males banget itu kalau makan ke bawah.
Gua cuma dapin.
Enggak, jadi kerja lu ngapain, Ji, sekarang?
Iya sama kerja mah.
Oh, sama.
Sekian orang.
Kerjain orang.
Iya,
Mati goblok.
mau ngajak sih.
Dia mati.
No more charges left.
Tawan lu ya.
Ikoro nih ini. Loncat-loncatnya.
Cepat makin bagus. Wall barang mau nggak?
Reloading.
Matamu.
Gak tahu.
Boleh,
lurus
boleh.
ini lurus ke belakang.
Boleh,
Ke belakang.
boleh.
Iya, ke belakang sini.
Cepetan.
Udah
Reloading. Spike down mid.
Anjing Made bangsat. Enggak ada akhlak, enggak ada.
Goblok.
Last player standing.
Gol bareng. Ngentot.
udah mau pecah bareng.
Anjing.
Oh, mau dikasih montek nih.
Oke.
Montek, Bang.
Montek. Wih, gila motor sepi dia. Nih. Serem banget itu, Bang. Jepek.
Pakai losnya naik anjing.
Nembaknya di format itu, Pin.
Singapura 1 kayak ini.
Iya.
Singapura
Tadi
3.
aman tapi emang kalau udah jam 7 lewat baru ini.
Wah, gila. Teori yang sangat bagus.
Oke.
Oh, Alpi. Ketar-ketir jadi itu.
Enggak deh.
Raja.
Iya bangsat emang Made itu sama anjing tuh Made itu.
Eagle
Gila,
Nice.
skill.
Operator dia.
Biar
Dia siapa?
loncat sini, Ji. Bisa nggak lu? Enggak, maksudnya kelihatan nggak lu loncat situ? Ada kepala orang. Di sininya, di sini. Kena tembak.
Apa Rodin?
Pak. Healing.
Oh, kalian udah masuk. Ya udah.
Ini apa pakai?
Gua agak lama nggak apa-apa ya. Nunggu wall.
Made healing, Made.
Nunggu wall, sabar ya.
Masya Allah.
Anjing,
Heal, Made.
Heaven.
Astaga, astagfirullahaladzim.
Udah di-send, udah.
One enemy remaining.
Astagfirullahaladzim.
Made anjing ngomong heal gua.
Teriak-teriak mulu.
Nggak mau di heal gua Made bang.
Udah ganti
Bilang
super.
sabar.
SG2 aja.
Nambah 13, Cuk. Sengaja. Biar makin lama kepelatnya.
Bentar.
Sibuk. Oh, udah bubar saja.
Gua makan dulu.
Berapa porsi, Pik?
Yes, 1. Makan dulu gua.
Ada-
Udah dipanggil.
Siapa doang yang
Tapi
makan?
di telepon juga.
Apa nih? Sabar. Wow. Sehat bang tuh. Sehat buang.
Nggak sehat.
Buang.
Diabetes. Banyak mukbang.
Dota, secret cek LGD.
Wow,
Ada diam bangsa.
Gimana Sol? Gila, langsung udah pixel.
Kabar ya Ji.
Oke.
Aku ada janji.
Hah?
Aku ada janji.
Ya oke. Yang penting update, Bo.
Dunia baru.
Boleh. Kan saya nggak tahu. Kita nonton Dota deh. Sambil nungguin mereka yang lagi pada makan.
Tapi tadi aku udah nyicil card. Baru 2 sih, baru 3 orang.
Per orang kan? Satu orang kan?
Oh.
Kalau mau yang anon satu-satu dulu ya boleh. Senin lah ya kita update ya satu-satu ya. Senin satu sampai Minggu kan pas kan? Gimana menurut lo?
Menanti sudah pada nunggu di Batam.
Kapan? Kenapa?
Menanti. Sponsori oleh Bet. Jangan deh.
Ayo lihat ada ini enggak? Bisa kau lihat enggak? Preview.
Belum.
Oh, kata lu udah beberapa kart tadi kan gua bilang.
Baru enggak cut doang. Potong backgroundnya doang.
Oh.
Gambarannya di otak gimana?
Berat.
Aku desain kadang nggak pakai script dulu apa enggak anjir. Mau bikin apa ya?
Kalau Dota ya kita nonton Dota dulu guys. Ntar sambil nungguin anak-anaknya lagi pada makan, ntar gue juga mau ambil makan. Jadi kita nonton Dota dulu, oke?
Biar
A
nanti
big difference
Mama biar
there is,
bangga.
of course, we see Toro and Fly. They're the carries, of course, for the team. But Gods, we also see
Ambil
some
makan dulu.
players in this one.
Yes, Ollie and Mira, I think both very key players for their team. To me, Ollie's kind of that like very stable, at times kind of defensive, but you know, he's getting involved in all of the action. Like he's always going to be backing up his cores, and he understands like their timings because he's always playing around the core that's, you know, the strongest at any given point in the game.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the series. The winner of this series will move forward to the final day of the International 10. Well, the loser, I mean, top 4 is still really good. You still get a lot of money as well, but it really is about making it to that final day. Let's welcome the teams on stage. Invictus Gaming will take their place on stage right now, and they are ready to make it to that final day. They like to be in grand finals. We have seen them in grand finals. These are your Singapore major champions from earlier this year. This squad has been together since September 2019 and have not stopped grinding. They have learned, they have grown, and also throughout this tournament, we see that they have improved with every step. Have they improved enough to make it to the final day? We'll find out as they are going to face Team Spirit. Will be the second team to walk on stage here on this Saturday evening, ready to face their opponent. And Team Spirit, of course, the Eastern European team that has made it the furthest in 6 years. The last time we saw an Eastern European team make it this far was 2013. It's not even 6 years. My math is completely off. This team is on fire. They have done so well. One of the youngest teams at the International, and they have the youngest player on their squad in Yatoro, 18 years old. Yes, you might be wondering, hey, but I thought Yatoro was the guy with the red hair. And you'd be right, because he was, but he's also the guy that shaved his head, because apparently yesterday morning, before their series versus OG, a sacrifice had to be made to the Dota gods. And I'm not even kidding, that is literally the reason. Why
and now we'll bring on the Clippers and sacrifice another.
But hey, yesterday it worked.
Toronto, Tokyo. Whoop, see ya.
It worked. I mean,
beautiful.
it's incredible. I mean, obviously, when you're playing on a big stage like this, there's gonna be some kind of, you know, you're gonna believe in some kind of karma and sacrifice. Some superstition will come into there, and I mean, this is one that we hadn't seen before.
It's a sacrifice, you know.
Yes.
It's all the hours you've put into Dota. Well, while you did that, you were growing that hair.
Yes.
And now it's all on the line. And so it's all laid out. It's all out there. It's all on the stage.
I hope they cleaned it up afterwards, though. Of course, also, Yatoro is the only player that has played 10 games on the main stage with 10 different heroes, which is incredible, Tigov.
Yeah, you don't often get to see that, and every time we mention that, we always seem to kind of gravitate towards Collapse, because of course, you know, Collapse is unlocking that a lot. And yeah, they also said in their interview yesterday, there was a surprise for today. And I'm a little bit let down, because I thought they're all going to shave their heads and just come out like 5 warlords going and face IG in the eyes, but that hasn't happened. So they did say there's a surprise coming. So maybe in the draft there could be a surprise. Maybe after the game they have the Clippers prepared or something. But I'm hoping for that surprise to show, because they said it in the interview.
They said it in the interview, and then it must be true, because that's how they
wouldn't lie.
Maybe it's a few more of those unpicked heroes we're going to see. A bunch of techies, you know. I'm sure they'd be quickly fan favorites then. But when you mention hero pool, the thing that's crazy about Yatoro is he's the youngest player in the tournament.
Yeah.
And often I think the issue with young players is sometimes their hero pool is small. They've just been playing Dota for a short amount of time, but clearly not an issue for him.
Not an issue for him, indeed. Of course, they're going up against IG here, and the opening series for both of these teams was this one as well. And it actually started going very well at the start of that best of 3 for Team Spirit, Trent.
You could say they took a game off them, but really, you know, it was a fantastic move they made, but it really was just kind of like one move to actually secure this game. And this
all you need is one move.
Well, I mean, they were pretty far behind.
But that's what Spirit has kind of leaned on throughout this tournament, is their ability to find that one move, right? Be it finding that one Roshan to give them the advantage, be it finding that, you know, beautiful DD for a Morphling to run it down mid. But I think that is the tenacity of Team Spirit, that ability to keep themselves in any game that not a lot of teams are able to unlock at TI.
So you wouldn't call it fluky?
Oh, I wouldn't call that fluky. I mean, DD Runes are very skilled.
Okay.
And,
This is also the first Rampage, by the way, that we saw on the main stage. And in the meantime, Team Spirit has had 3 Rampages on the main stage in total, of course, making it all the way to this point.
That's crazy, because there's only... He had the 5th one of all time.
Yeah.
That first one was... There'd only been 4 at all the other TIs on the main stage.
Yeah, we have... This is the fight in the game 2, by the way, where IG was very dominant, and we have a godlike emo in the Roche pit here, securing game 2, of course, forcing out that game 3 in this series.
Yeah, and the important thing about that 3rd game in this series was the fact that IG actually broke 2 records in this game with the highest KDA with 0 deaths and 1+ deaths. It was like 49 KDA and 37 KDA in that game on the Storm and the Spectre. Oof. So Spirit did kind of get a little bit slapped in that 3rd game, and I think they're going to have to use that and go, okay, this is how we got, you know, completely removed from the upper bracket. Let's maybe not let that happen again. So they've learned the hardest way against IG of how to not approach a Storm Spectre, for example.
So this series, if you would have asked me at the start of the tournament, and if you would have asked me even the start of the main event, I would say IG will take it, and they did take it in the upper. Bracket first round, but now we've seen Team Spirit evolve. IG is still very strong, but obviously they did drop also to the lower bracket eventually. Is this an even series? Does anybody have a very clear favorite going into this, Trent?
I would still lean over towards IG personally. I think that it is something that we're missing a lot in the way that Joe's been played over like the whole COVID era, has been this idea of coming to a LAN and quickly grinding out a bunch of games and improving all your strategies based on that. And that is something we got the majors at the very least, but it used to be when we had like a tournament every other weekend. That's a very integral part of how you play Dota, right? And you learn very quickly as a team, and that's something that they're missing. So you're seeing them adapt, and they're bringing that in. They have to make sure that they're going to have those skills in order to actually adapt and level up enough here to beat IG.
Yep. I'm with Trent, and I feel like IG's biggest strength is they have more than one play style. I think they've won games playing around emo with these like heavy mid-game lineups, his Ember Spirit, but then they can also win games where they sit back and play for this more late game, fly on his Spectre. It just feels like to me that IG is a bit more flexible with their drafts.
Yeah, they're very robust for sure. And I think if you look towards Spirit and what's kind of got them here, they kind of have the same, but it's a little bit less. And I think the main thing here is just the enthusiasm that Spirit brings, right? It's the fact that they do see good in games that are pretty bad. I think IG, for example, most of the games that they've won, it has looked pretty decent. I think the 2nd game today, they had to bounce back. But I think Spirit has consistently found more routes back into harder games. So it's even for me, honestly.
Okay, well, I'm happy to hear that, because it should be feeling fairly even between these two teams, especially considering their results prior. I want to talk about the mid matchup, because Toronto Tokyo versus Emo, we talked about, of course, the alt chatting. That's great. But in terms of player matchups, this should be a very exciting mid lane to watch, T.
Sure, yeah. Again, to remind everyone about Toronto Tokyo, he started the DPC very much as a pub-esque style of player. No one really kind of gave him the respect he now deserves, and I think he has kind of proven himself throughout this tournament. Whilst if you look to the other side, Emo, kind of, again, a slightly shaky tournament, but still very much high regard. So, yeah, I think both of these players kind of want to prove themselves to their fans that they can be that top 3 at TI mid laner.
Yeah. I would personally give Emo a bit of an edge. I think he has that kind of more playmaking ability that Toronto Tokyo doesn't showcase as much. It's partly the Spirit playstyle where usually it's collapse on that big team fighter starting the fights or the supports, whereas Emo is often the one, we saw Blink Dagger Ember Spirit early today. He wants to be able to go in and set his teammates up for success, whereas for Toronto Tokyo, often it's more like, the Kunkka, the Invoker, these heroes that sit back a bit more. Maybe, they're poking and prodding, but they're not fully starting the fight.
Yeah, we just said sit back, and then we saw on screen someone else sitting in the chair, and that is Super, the coach, who will take over the wheel during the drafting phase. At the other side, Team Spirit, they do have Silent backing them up. He doesn't necessarily take over the wheel, but definitely a very vocal voice in that draft indeed. And speaking of draft, let's get into it for this first game.
Invictus Gamer versus Team Spirit. Game 1.
Thank you, Shiver. Suns fan here. Finally made it to the tiny table that makes me look just great. I am here with my Persian brother, Insania. Salam alaikum, my friend. And my American brother, BSJ. Hello. Hi. Great to see you. Great to have you here. Let's get into the draft, gentlemen. IG versus Team Spirit, best of 3. This is for, well, I was going to say all the marbles, but there's actually a few more to go with. Winner of this.
A chance at all the marbles.
Chance at all the marbles. I'm guessing you saw that show recently on Netflix.
Yes, I did.
Squid Game.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into the drafts, BSJ. Stop distracting me, for God's sake. So,
my bad.
Team Spirit versus IG. Talk to me, gentlemen.
It looks like a potential Tiny is going to be left open, but most likely I think it's going to get banned when Magnus is out of the pool. I think Mag has been the only hero I've seen effectively work against Tiny, so yeah, there you go. Mag's out, Tiny's out.
Yeah, I like to see IG remove these heroes like Weaver and Mag because they just leave room for these outplays. Team Spirit, I think on paper is a bit weaker than IG, but they have this X factor that I think a team that's an underdog needs to have in order to take these series like we saw yesterday against VP. They can just win the game at any point. And in their first game of the main event, we saw that clip of the Morphling with the DD. They were down, almost out in that game, and suddenly they throned. So that's what I'm looking for from Team Spirit. Will they have the playmaking potential 30, 40 minutes into the game with their heroes? And they almost always give themselves that.
I think Spirit's they've been really good about hanging through their games. I feel like even ever since Kiev Major, when we played them in a best of 1, I kind of realized this about their team. They have this really interesting thing they do pretty late on into the game where if they're behind, they'll take over your triangle, set up vision. And I think actually when it comes to playing around vision, they might be the strongest team out of all the teams still here. So I think that's going to be something that they want to look to utilize and abuse. Shocking first pick from IG,
Yeah,
Kaka Lion.
Couldn't have possibly expected this one. He has been only playing it pretty much every game of the main event. The thing I think about Team Spirit is when you mentioned they take over the opponent triangle and establish vision in weird places, I feel like when I'm watching them, they should be losing. I don't know if you know what I mean, but they're in this position where they don't look like they take standard fights. They don't look like they're holding standard parts of the map. And you just look at the net worth lead and it never goes in favor of the opponent. And I think it's something that they're just so unique about that maybe these teams aren't prepared for. But the thing about IG compared to VP, for instance, is that I just think IG is much more solid in their game rather than being more on the aggressive. They just play to their own timings. VP's kind of run at you consistently, and Team Spirit's the type of team that if you mess up once, overextend once, they will punish you.
You guys have a lot of experience with this, but IG obviously is the favorite going into this, right? In terms of just the entire year, in terms of the scope. But Team Spirit has like all the momentum right now. Like, how much of a difference do you think that actually makes at this stage?
I think it makes a huge difference for Team Spirit. I think right now they get Mars Bane. I think these are two heroes that they love playing. And I think of Collapse, Mars is like the first hero that comes to mind. And I think like when you feel like your heroes are working, when you feel like the ideas that you're coming into the tournament with are working, and you get that momentum building up like in the lower bracket as they have, that gives you confidence to just pick it. You're like, all right, screw it. We don't care about the Tide Hunter. You don't second guess yourself like, maybe we should take the Tide because it's been so good at this tournament. You're like, nah.
It's funny because at the Animator, that's where they kind of, like everybody was picking Mars back then. He was really strong, but he's kind of tapered off with a couple of nerfs to go with it. And there's still a team that's not afraid to bring it first too. And then Bane, what the hell's happening with this hero, guys? Usually not very good at TI or any tournament in the past God knows how many years, but he's being picked with a very high win rate now.
Yeah, he went through like a small dip in the group phase because for the tournaments leading up to TI, he was highly sought after, and then they gave him a slight nerf to Nightmare in the laning stage. But he just wins pretty much every lane. We saw somebody like save on VP yesterday, setting up countless ganks. The time that your team has to connect to you with the Nightmare, with how spread out teams tend to be playing right now, it's just so much easier. The ease of execution, the follow-up stuns is all you need.
Yeah, absolutely. And picking it early like this, because you have the enfeeble, a lot of teams right now tend to run some sort of healing hero or some sort of healing mechanic in their drafts. You kind of say no heals for you. It's kind of like if you think about Rubik. When people pick Rubik, you don't really want to pick certain heroes against them because it gives Rubik these tools. The Bane fills a pretty similar role right now in terms of how the enfeeble specifically interacts with other healing spells. So on top of that also, I think it's one of my Poshka's like staple heroes.
See Monkey King, Lina in the second phase. Monkey King even getting to the second phase is kind of crazy considering how strong it's been as mostly a support, but we did see in the last series position 1 for PSG LGD. And Wyvern another save taken out. That's a hero that's kind of dropped off considerably since the last 6 months. That was like a hero every single game with Mars, or not necessarily with Mars, but just 2 of the heroes that were just spammed big time back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I love December ban, actually. I think when it comes to IG, they really seem to look at their best when Emo is on a hero that can like kind of play make, but also scale up into the game. And currently with the items that Ember buys, I feel like he fills those 2 roles probably the best out of any hero I've seen Emo play. So I think it's really, really good ban from Team Spirit.
Yeah, so my question for you, Aiden, is they have this Bane Mars combo, and the reason why I see Tide getting picked is neither of those 2 heroes deal with Kraken Shell. They want to have somebody to jump. Tide's always going to present themselves as the target, and on paper, these 2 heroes don't have the way to deal with it. So do you pick something like Disruptor? Do you pick a carry that's going to buy Silver Edge? What are you thinking like going into the second phase to address this Tide Hunter?
I think the really cool thing about Spirit is Yatoro has such a wide hero pool, and it's been reflected in the fact that he's not played the same hero twice, right? But I feel like he can play both some sort of tempo control hero and he can play some scaling hero. So it depends really on what kind of approach Spirit wants to take. If they want to play maybe some more pacing hero, then yeah, I could see the Disruptor on the Bane as a 4 and try to play this draft really fast. I think generally speaking though, Mira tends to play more traditional position 4 heroes. I think he used to be a core player actually before he started to play 4, so not like that 5 that moved to 4. So I doubt they run the Bane 4. I think most likely it's going to be a Poshka Bane.
Are you expecting this to be, I guess we don't know yet, but there's some flexibility with the Tide Hunter, whether it's actually support or off lane. We've seen a lot of support this tournament for Tide. Why do you guys think that is something that has kind of been more recent addition to Dota?
I think it's a natural progression for any hero that you're going to want to pick it first round. It's going to get countered, and you want them to be forced to counter you, but you're fine to put it at a support role as long as it can lane. So it just gives you this edge where if there's 2 roles that you can pick from, and in the second round of the draft, it just leaves your strategy a lot more wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think coming into the tournament, a lot of people that were looking to counter Tide were looking primarily at how do we deal with the Kraken Shell. And when you're trying to counter the Kraken Shell, running it as a position 5, it's still going to accomplish what you do as a 5, which is Gush and Ravage. So I think that kind of thing where if you get countered as a 3, you put it in a 5 position. However, I think this is, at this point in the tournament, teams kind of know where the preferred position of the hero is. They've seen so many games they played. So I would be surprised if this wasn't a Tide 3. I think they're probably going to be looking more at some sort of Phoenix type hero because I think it really plays to their strengths.
Ursa, 3rd pick by IG. Saw that in the last series as well.
Yeah, this hero's stock's been rising as well throughout the course of the tournament. These durable carries like the Monkey King we saw last game, you saw the Ursa chew through him, and that's what he's meant to do, but this hero does kind of fall off if you can kite the ulti plus the Ag Shard timing. He doesn't farm nearly as fast as these other carries, but with the IO, you're supposed to sustain your carry, right? You're supposed to keep them alive, but over the course of the time that Ursa's hitting him, it just becomes more and more difficult with the Fury swipes adding up.
Abaddon picked, and that almost ensures entirely that Tide Hunter's a 3. Although I would love to see Abaddon as core, honestly. It is so fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think for IG though, it very likely just is what you see is what you get here. I think these are the 2 side lanes, and they're reserving the last pick for Emo.
What do you think about Slark here? One of the few games I think it looks really nice.
You bring up Slark every time we're on panel together.
I have not brought up Slark this entire time.
Yeah, you waited for me. There's some obsession with you and Slark. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's just the fish comp. This is an Aiden level analysis. You see a fish on the other team, and the best thing you can do is get another fish on your own team.
Fair enough.
I think if you're going to pick Slark, one of the most important things to have is you want some sort of sustain tool to allow him to trade, because you want to utilize the essence shifts, but okay, they seem to not want it. PA also the shard. I'm sure you know this better than I do, but it's a great answer to the Tide Hunter because you have the damage to burst him during the break, and you also have the ability to break for yourself. So PA on his own, if he gets strong enough into the game, he has the ability to jump Tide Hunter whenever he's presented to him.
The matchup for PA is a lot better versus Ursa as well. Ursa has to commit really hard onto you. If he wants to go, you can pick and choose, force him to use his ultimate defensively, potentially even just his Earth Shock defensively with the daggers. And with the lower cooldown dagger at level 10, lowering it to 4 seconds, it makes that like navigation much easier. And also the Ursa has to buy an MKB for you, and Ursa doesn't deal with minus armor all that well. Burst damage, he wants to be able to use his ultimate conveniently. None of your items like Ags or anything like that make you feel all that great. So the matchup's good, but the thing about Tide is he loves playing against PA in lane. It's almost a free farming lane. I'm assuming they'll leave it as a 3. You get a lot of stick charges from the PA's dagger, so you can afford to take Gush earlier on in the lane. And you can also just play the sustain game where you walk up in his face, because he just doesn't threaten you enough in the early game. Not enough damage from PA in the laning stage.
Yeah, I think for Team Spirit, the trick's going to be how do we get to 20 minutes, right? How do we get to the point where our PA is going to outscale the Radiant draft without losing too much? Because you have to deal with the Roshan. There's going to be an early Rosh attempt from IG. They have the Ursa Abaddon. Abaddon's there to sustain him, allows him to hit Rosh. There's a negative armor from Tide, and like you said, right, Tide is going to have a very good start to this game. And that's going to allow them to kind of set the pace and decide where they want to go and how they want to play it.
And for counter potential for Roche, like all they have for Team Spirit is Arena, which is not that great. It's not like you have an Elder Titan that can just delay. So I don't know how much you put that into stock when you're picking, because I'm assuming mid heroes for both respective teams is coming up here.
The thing is, since you don't have the stall, like you mentioned, from long range, that means you have to control that area pretty consistently if you want to stop the Roche early on, which I think means they have to put a lot of emphasis on this PA IO lane getting off to a decent start, assuming the IO is in the safe lane. And that means that because the Tide is a good matchup against PA, they most likely want to pick a mid that easily rotates, conveniently kills the Tide once or twice. The Leshrac would have been a perfect example that they banned out from IG. Just damage over time, chase him down, non-committal. Like really, really convenient gank is what I call it, because the PA sets that up really well with the dagger slow. One of the few carries that heavily contributes to those early ganks.
A lot of mid heroes have been banned, gentlemen. Who's left on the list? We got Void Spirit still there. In terms of the Spirit Brothers, I guess Earth Spirit technically, but we haven't seen that mid in quite a while.
I like Death Prophet a lot for Team Spirit. I'm curious if they leave it in for IG.
Yeah, I think some sort of secondary core from Team Spirit, because right now the problem that I see is their PA is most likely just going to want to farm. I think Yator is probably the only carry player here that I could see like play this PA as a more active hero, where he's just fighting with his team a lot and trying to snowball the game that way. But generally speaking, I'd expect the PA to be looking to farm a bit more, and then they need some sort of damage to go with the IO Mars Bane to apply pressure to IG.
They have to have a momentum hero, like early. They banned the Lesh SF. Those are like lane dominators, tower hitters, early physical damage from the Lesh, or pre damage from Lesh's Diabolic Edict and SF. So I'm still leaning towards Death Prophet as my main pick, but anything that says like I'm gonna force this Void Spirit to get some help may just open up enough space in the map so that they can delay that Rosh. They're probably not gonna take it, but if they can make that Rosh 15 minutes instead of 10, it makes a big difference for Ursa's second Rosh timing.
Yeah, I think it's tricky because if you run the DP here, you have the Wisp to back you up and you can get relocated out, but there's a lot of fast damage coming out of IG, right? You have the Ursa Burst together with a Lion, a Gush on top, or Void Spirit coming in. Like, your DP can die before you can get relocated off. And I think it's one of the key things where it's hard for Wisp, right? If you can kill a hero within the 3 seconds that your relocate is going off, then it's really, really hard to fight. You can't really play as a save. And I think that might be one of the reasons they don't go for it.
Oh, Slacks is not happy right
now. And I think this game becomes really hard for Team Spirit to navigate the fight. So I'm leaning towards IG just because whenever I see a carry hero whose build is very straightforward and how they're going to scale, and the other team's on a pressure to time, or a timing pressure, I just lean towards the ease of execution there.
So one thing that Slacks does have right about Wind Ranger, I have to admit, and I really hate to do this because complimenting him just makes me cringe, but Wind Ranger, it just feels like it's either amazing or terrible, and there's not much in between. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It does give him away to Scott Roach, though, the power shot, and he'll be playing around mid most of the time.
Gale Force, huh?
True. That's
Saw
more
that
of a
in the last
support thing.
series. Oh, please. You don't get that on core still? It's so good.
Just delays your
1400?
timings, the Maelstrom BKB.
Bro,
He doesn't
it's
know about
global.
shards. I saw his YouTube shard video. It's terrible.
Yeah,
thing was
I
9
didn't
months
even
old.
bother clicking on that. Why would I?
Yeah.
I'm the master at shards and ags, BSG. I don't know if you know this. It's a good shard, okay? Just trust me.
I'm trusting you.
I think he had it in C tier.
That was back when it was a global power shot.
C tier? Oh, I thought you made a new one.
No, that was...
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, that one was also bad anyway, so don't click on that. Jenkins is also in that, so definitely don't.
Not worth your time.
Yeah, absolutely not. So you're both going for IG here, I take it?
I actually think Spirit has a pretty good draft for themselves.
Okay.
I think for Spirit, it's going to be about, can we get this PA fat enough and get him online, and can we stop Ursa from rushing? That's going to be the main points to look for.
All right, let's go to Frankie, who's with Silent from Team Spirit.
Silent, thank you so much for joining me. I noticed Collapse is free to play his Mars today. Were you expecting that?
Really, we wasn't expected. I was sure we're gonna ban him, but lucky for us. But who knows? We prepared something new stuff. We didn't expect it, so gonna be interesting.
Oh, Udachi, we'll see you in game 2. Thank you so much. Spasiba. We're going to head over to OD Pixel now and Newcaster OP Owie.
Thank you very much, Frankie. Yes, indeed, we're ready to rock and roll with this one. It's going to be quite the game. We've seen the draft here from Spirit and IG. AUI, what do you make of this? What do you like? Who do you think is coming with the hotter lineup?
I think they're both really competitive drafts. I am a bit concerned for Team Spirit in that I feel like it's a really simple Abaddon game. On the draft panel, they're mentioning how PA can use a shard to break Tidehunter, but I believe you can shield that off. Alongside, you know, the Bane Grip, the Mars Spear, Windrunner Shackle, there's a lot of things that Ollie can purge. However, sometimes you can overwhelm him, so I'm interested to see if Spirit's going for that role, because they saw the Abaddon once they committed to Wind Ranger.
They did, and you know, when you look at some of the lanes that we're going to get early on, is there anything you're maybe a bit concerned of, like any potential for one of these sides to really get ahead in the early minutes?
Personally, I don't like playing PA into Tidehunter. I feel like the dagger feeds him a lot of wand charges. I mean, it goes both ways with Anchor Smash, but I feel Tidehunter's a hero where if he gets enough levels, he can pressure PA out of the lane. I feel like he has eventual pressure in that if they both stay in the lane, he's going to push the tower. PA is not the best jungle farmer, so I feel like you have to be able to make aggressive moves. I look mid, and you can't really gank a voice worth a PA TP.
Ah iya berlupa. 60 guys. Halo. Pertama antara
Halloo.
Bin.
Hah? Ayo.
Bakat anjing gitu.
Beda mono no kokyū. Tan no kiba.
Bin minjem ID dulu lagi, Bin.
Fugisaki. Ngapain?
Main.
Main apa?
Demon Slayer.
Enggak. Anjing. Beli.
Bos streamingin.
Enggak.
Main lah.
Udah patungan enggak anjing. Kau tahu aku beli itu 1 juta.
Ya udah tuh. Aku minjem, jadi aku main di sini.
Menggila. Duitku menggila.
Bulan depan.
Standarnya 800.000 ternyata, kurang ajar.
Lu beli 1 juta?
Ya
Juta
nggak
dapat
apa-apa
apa?
sih. Dapat karakter sama apa?
Udah tamat?
Udah. Pre-play gua. Jadi main duluan sebelum rilis. Dapat wallpaper juga.
Oke.
Terus apa lagi ya? Avatar. Soundtrack.
Belum rilis udah tamat, Vin.
Kenapa?
Belum rilis udah tamat.
Udah rilis kan?
Yoi. Udah rilis. Kemarin rilisnya.
Ya udah langsung sini ID-nya.
Enggak. Kalau lu nambahin 200.000 kemarin nggak apa-apa.
Ngomong.
Ya gimana? Namanya tidak sabar. YouTuber-YouTubernya belum tamat.
Pindah Valorant.
Kirim apa? Koru nih. Korewa Whiskas no Tameni. Anjing. Koru ada nggak? Nggak ada Koru.
Mana yang lain? Ada orang mana? Ada orang mana? Say, mau meet up kan nih di Bekasi kan? Bisa kali ini mah main-main bentar ke luar Bekasi. Say,
Gak bisa naik kereta.
kenapa? Udah vaksin kan lu?
Sengaja kok ke Bekasi biar divaksin gitu.
Ya udah, berarti kan bisa jalan-jalan.
Divaksin baru Senin.
Vaksin kedua kan?
Pertama.
Tolol anjing orang.
Lah si Dapin aja belum lebih parah.
Bener belum
Belum,
buka, Pin?
Belum.
Gimana sih lo vaksin?
Gue juga nggak pernah keluarnya. Vaksin kan buat orang-orang yang nggak bisa diem di rumah.
Let's go, Pin.
Lah gua dong.
Login Pi.
Iya.
Lama.
Gue mau vaksin nih. Gue gak pernah keluar tuh.
Login Pi. Pin. Login.
Hah?
Login.
Udah.
Mana?
Deh. Made.
Spek lo apa sih? Adora?
Hah?
Spek lo apa?
Adora 2825. Ini Grand Magus akun lu apa akun temen lu?
Akun kedua gua. Baru.
Ade,
HP, login.
B, main B. B,
B.
B.
Login.
Nggak usah di-spam anjing. Nah,
Ampere. Udah masukin.
King in the club.
Mana di mana?
Goblok mati.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I goes on and on and on and on and on and
On.
Itu apa ya dia judulnya?
Gak tahu.
Lupa nih.
Oh, life goes on.
Life goes on. Oh iya.
Jangan yang batu es.
jangan yang batu.
Alpi lama,
Alpi lama.
Sabar lagi MPV-an.
Tinggal uji tembak.
Enak beatnya nih.
Ini orang nggak perlu autotune yang memerlukannya orang tim.
Yo
Ini muka gua putih banget maksud.
Lagunya 5 jam plus 4 jam setengah deh. Nice. Today I want to know more about you deh. Parma deh.
Apa cuk?
Siapa lagi?
Siapa nih?
Siapa?
Tahu.
Kok tanya saya?
Koru lah,
Iya,
siapa
Koru.
lagi?
Iya, Koru tuh pasti. Mantap. Mana ada Koru? Koru tuh you hungry, good thing you getting guys. Dengan main gini Koru. Main game. Siapa Pit? Aku lagi diuji tembak nih.
Anjing Valir Legend, the fuck.
Emang itu Vale belum ada, udah ada. Apa Karamis? Karamisnya belum ada kemarin.
Mati juga.
Dia beliin mousepad sih. Beliin mousepad. Mousepad.
Yang goceng.
Hah?
Yang goceng.
Mousepad.
Ya, yang goceng.
Boleh. Yang penting gede. Kalau bisa gedenya ngotak ya, jangan lebar. Yang lebar nggak enak. Yang ngotak soalnya.
Gua ada yang lebar dong kalau mau.
Yang ngotak.
Hah?
Yang ngotak susah carinya.
Susah.
Yang ngotak mahal.
Valir Legend kayak Dante kalau jadi iblis deh.
Siapa lagi? Valir.
Valir.
Oh, Valir. Siapa?
Dante kau nggak tahu?
Enggak, Valir. Oh, Valir. Oh ya, Valir. Ngomong dong Valir.
Perasaan tadi dia ngomong ya.
Baby.
Kamu right,
Aku mikirin video klipnya, Cok.
Yang agak dipikir lah.
Nah, udah.
Hey, what's it? Ya.
Atau panas ya sekarang.
Funny how I said it when yeah. Then I went did it again, yeah. I
Ngeri siapa ini? Liatin alur cerita rambut.
Pendek, panjang.
Botak.
Mau restart dulu nggak?
Itu Alfi, tunggu.
Apa?
Apa kita pakai akomodasi. Ngelak ya?
Tiba-tiba berhenti ya?
Ngelak ya? Ini bintang berapa, Fit?
5. Thing I told her that I never would. One never could.
Stay.
Can't stop. 9 ya. Per second paling atas lagi Radiant One. Radiant One.
Here comes the party. Satchel out.
Jadi Soldam apa?
Here comes
Per
the
second.
party. Satchel out.
Soldam.
Jadi siapa aja sekarang? Liquid Logi tuh.
Oh, PCP pas mulai.
Satchel out.
Kemarin dia
Oh enggak, FS lawan Deka.
Here comes the party.
Deka. Iya Deka. Loh, ininya mana? Oh ini, gitu.
Here comes the party.
Gitu, 34. M43 deh.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
Kelok. Crosshair apa nih Vera-nya?
Satchel out.
Lagu tahun berapa ini?
Gak tahu.
Pernah dengar di Matahari?
So clean.
Here comes the party! I diffuse things in my sleep.
Coba.
Bomb buddy out. Satchel out. Satchel out.
Nice. 1v1.
Here comes the party!
Pun kininya Winda udah ketemu, Bin.
Oh, nice. Let's go.
Bin.
Ya nggak dapet aja.
Akun Genshin Winda udah balik.
Iya kah?
Iya.
Bomb buddy out. Satchel out. Satchel out. Here comes the party!
Lupa main sini Kowim, ngomong doang. Lu lihat nih sekarang. Ngomong doang. Main enggak? Ngomong doang nih, males ah.
Males.
Ntar gua ngebuka ID gua yang satu lagi, Diamond kan nggak enak.
Oh iya. Coba lah kalau lagi.
Aduh, Diamond 1 Kowim, aduh. Jadi nggak enak.
Nani.
Duh, orang enggak. Diamond 1 nih. Senggol dong.
Nanti katanya Koji bakal gendong, Bin.
Ingat, kita Jumawa.
Apa?
Iya, nanti kayak perek lo, perek Jumawa langsung kombe. Wah, FT. Ya, gagal montek FT di sini.
Gua masih terngiang-ngiang yang montek itu loh deh, ya. Gua kirim deh.
Montek.
Allahu Akbar, Yesus Kristus goblok kata gua.
Salah grab stream hehehe.
Collab langsung anjir.
Ayo, itu kan aku ya Om Koji.
Collab bangsat. Kaget gua.
New hero. Ada lah. Dota ada hero baru lagi, Dota hero baru lagi.
FS bisa FS. Jangan kena Jumawa emang.
Match found.
Bit lagi.
Bagus lah. Yuk. Ji, mau pakai apa, Ji? Nah, udah aku smoker.
Aku Killjoy.
Ya, ente lah.
Sage nggak apa-apa.
Udah, kaget. Gak ada orang di mid. No problemo. Bro,
let's go.
Nanti kau smoke rafter ya, Pit.
Duh, nggak ada smoke anjing.
Ya, kan
Bro, nggak ada smoke lagi.
Tapi ya bisa. Ayo bisa.
Tadi ada sniper anjing.
Kan ini kan ada
Tadi ada
jet.
cage. Jet smoke cuma 4 detik aja.
Ya, emang case-nya tadi ngebantu entry?
Enggak sih.
Mau pakai OP di belakang.
Lagu apa lagi?
Kalau ngamuk-ngamuk sih deh.
Mana mau tahu playlist.
Enggak, bukan ngamuk hanya Lil lah.
Lil G ya?
Itu hype
Yang
gini
nggak
semua.
gay sih dia.
I don't have any history with that
Nyari
fake
nama doang
Christian.
kan.
Screw him. I'll put
Jadi
him
kayak
down.
Tapi but
ala ya, Bang.
Gua kalau lagunya lagu-lagu montek gini biasanya gua bener mainin.
Bener kan?
Call me when you want, call me when you need, call me in the morning, I'll be on the way. I'll be on the way.
Scanning ahead.
Get into sentry. Reloading. Reloading. Enemy spotted.
Spike down A.
Satu di stream.
Mana nyampe?
No more sofa.
78.
One enemy remaining.
It is done.
Nice.
Dapin.
Kenapa gua ngedes ke dalam?
Lagu montek.
Just gotta play around the slow fields and we're fine.
In the morning, I'll be on the way.
Alah gila.
Enggak, soalnya cok berisnya. Ini apil cok, apal Alfi. Nah,
Baik.
Alfi apal. Apakah ini pertanda adik-adik?
Bah.
Quick peeks now. Here.
Revealing area.
Ya, salah.
Turn out.
Aduh.
Kamu ngambil tempat khusus.
Reloading. Blocking sight.
Enemy spotted A.
Reloading.
Koncil.
Recalling my bot.
Mati Pin.
Reloading. Enemy spotted A.
Astagfirullah.
Enemy spotted A.
Di sini ada. Mau muter nggak?
Enemy spotted A. Enemy spotted A.
Hit sama Soba. 3 ya Ban. Nice.
What the fuck? Nggak ngeliat apa apa gua.
One
Nice.
enemy remaining.
Udah masuk deh, plan deh. Lebih penting. Yang lebih penting.
Okay, great guys.
Let's go.
Ojik bisa di mid, cok.
Objektif.
My quiver is never full.
Objektif yang penting kan?
Oh, bisa di mid.
Hah?
Oh, bisa di mid.
Dari tadi gua dari
Yang muter.
Anjing.
Pi, lu nggak beli kan, Pi?
Need a drop. Gun here.
Halo
Shield
Rizky.
dibeli bang. Shield dibeli bang.
Lagi.
Scanning ahead.
Enemy spotted mid.
Tiga, Dek, balik deh.
Reloading.
Tiga, Dek. Tiga.
Reloading.
T7.
Kanan.
Enemy spotted B.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Mau montek ya bang?
Enemy spotted mid.
Montek, Abang.
Anjing, nggak mati.
Reloading.
Kanan, Comment.
Sova removed.
One enemy remaining. 30 seconds
area.
left.
Here. No charges left. Planted.
Deagle dia biasanya. Jago Deagle.
Enemy
Gane.
spotted B. I had to kill.
Nice.
Let's see. Battles are won by geniuses, and I am a genius. So
Dapin.
Hah?
Buang.
need a drop.
Ini pipi sumpah pi aku. Kaget cok.
Revealing area.
Masya Allah.
Fire in the hole!
Kontek lah ini anjing.
Block sight.
Alhamdulillah tidak ada korban jiwa.
Reloading.
Mati dia nih.
Astagfirullah.
Rasulullah.
78. Yes.
Your duty is not over.
How the fuck?
Reloading.
Oh, tapi mati. Mampus nggak ini? Mampus nggak?
Here, placing
Scanning
sentry.
ahead.
Masuk aja. Atas wall.
Enemy spotted A. Placing
One enemy remaining.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Bawahan lagi.
Light planted.
29 ya.
Reloading.
Ini dia.
Bodoh amat. Pas banget.
I'm still here, amigo.
Wah, hampir mati.
What will it be this time? Have any patterns emerged yet?
Ya bang, bang.
Drop gua deh.
Speknya sih. Nanti dibawa ke mid lagi tuh.
Yang bawa ke mid siapa anjing?
Tadi.
Masa.
Blind their scout. What's this? Reloading. Turret out. Get it. B.
Take flight.
Masya Allah.
Enemy spotted B.
Oh, namanya bukan sih anjing.
Medic.
Anjing!
Shotgun.
Balik wall 2.
One enemy remaining.
Nice, balik wall lagi. Nice.
Hit maran, bro.
Sumpah
Arah
ulti
from
berisik kali, cok, nggak fokus gua.
Let's blow them over.
Salahin yang ulti dong.
Gua mau pisau race-nya nggak kena pala jadinya.
Kenapa?
Salahin yang ulti.
FPS drop anjing.
Salahin yang ulti.
Drop gua deh.
Need a drop. Thanks. I need
Kok
to blow something
oh
up.
ya, paling kaya.
Kau 7.000.
Aku ZBS loh.
Reloading. Placing sentry.
Found them.
Ya salah lo, sorry.
Reloading. Recalling my bomb.
Nah, ini kok turretnya tengah jalan sini? Kan kita taruh sini, Bang.
Ya enggak tahu.
Deploying drone.
Masukin ininya. Matiin stage dari belakang.
Aduh.
Spike down mid.
Reloading. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Nice.
Scanning ahead.
Enemy down.
Gak ada smoke.
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
gila Koji. Amanin kitanya.
Nice.
Nggak dicek loh, kebiasaan.
Lupa. PD gue masuk dalam.
Stay
Bisa
taut
lupa.
as a boasting. Then fight the
Biasa deh, abang diamond deh.
Iya, abang diamond.
Senggol dong.
Dropin.
Request.
Can someone get
Dia
thank
6.000.
you?
Drop.
Can I get this?
7.000.
7.000.
Anjing.
Korup.
8.000. Kan 8.000 lebih banyak.
7.000. Itu lebih banyak.
Beda 1.000 doang.
300 anjing ini.
Reloading.
Ayo bang, ngadu bang.
Sabar bang, dingin.
Take flight.
Here. Reloading. Initiated kill. Wall raid. Lock in sight. Enemy spotted B. Here.
Bajingan itu
Si anjing.
Target destroyed.
Harus 38 anjir.
You will not kill my ally.
Healing area. Reloading.
Wall pecah.
Spike carriers down.
Sableng.
Sumpah res ini di belakang terus anjing. Ngapain?
Anjir resnya.
Kanan ada.
Reloading.
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
Oke.
Sleep, brother.
Understandable.
One enemy remaining.
Three gone.
Kanan nas. 80 hit. Kalau nggak deal.
Kanannya.
Arasin kanan.
Belakang
Ya.
goblok.
Muter niat cok, Serehu itu.
They want to dance? I'll lead.
Soalnya gampang.
Begging you. More money is what I'm begging.
Tahu tidak.
I don't wanna lose you.
Kontak lah si bangsat tuh cok.
Dia tutup.
Enemy down.
Tembakin. Sadahin. Kalau lo mati aja.
Reloading.
Nowhere to run.
Reloading.
Yang kena.
Your duty is not over.
Kabur pin. Kabur.
Ada heal nggak?
Reloading.
Cabut lah.
Ada heal nggak?
Kabur lah.
Baliklah kalian duluan.
Revealing area.
Ikut, Pi.
There they
Made
are.
ada heal nggak, Made?
Tak pakai. Tak pakai.
Oh, ya anjing.
Lagi satu lagi.
Udah, biar aja, biar. Di set ya, bridge-nya.
30 seconds left.
Kalau udah heal bilang deh.
Alarm bot out. Placing swarm grenade. Placing swarm
Gue di sini,
grenade.
gue di sini. Pelan-pelan.
Here. Placing sentry.
10 seconds left.
Planted.
Ada heal langsung heal ya. Stair, Pi. Ada, Pi. Nyalain, Ji. Stairnya, Ji.
Swarm grenade out.
Belum.
Found
Ya
them.
nggak apa-apa. Memperlambat aja.
Swarm grenade out.
City satu. Gue liat City. Lu liat Heaven, Pi.
Gua dapat dulu. Sini.
Evan 1. 78. Saving itu. Os, macam mid.
Kabur dia, ada orang di kabur sih.
Diambil kayaknya, padahal buat.
A bow and arrow is old-fashioned, but sometimes old ways are best.
Cuma nonton internet bapuk apa-apa. Santai. Santai, soy.
Iko ya dia. Nge-save tapi ya, si Sage.
Iya, nge-save.
Oh.
2 orang nge-save.
Tetep aja sih nggak beli mereka.
Ya,
Paling harus beli shotgun.
Paling nge-half.
Walaupun aku beli.
Anjing kenapa timingnya?
Reloading.
Baki-baki. Kah. Matiin satu itu masuk kita.
Pak, slip mana? Low banget itu.
Right here. Enemy spotted A. Down.
Dead.
Aduh, di bawah. Hel.
Ini ya?
Udah mati. Udah mati.
Keren deh.
Omennya dia.
Reloading. Scanning ahead.
Light planted.
Beda-beda aja jaganya.
Here.
Race-nya lihat anjing, lihat screen dia.
Watching here.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Ada senjata tuh, ada power.
Screen last, screen last.
Weapon here.
Udah save dia.
Saving lagi deh.
Masa?
Iya, udah kabur City dia.
Devis.
Nggak nyampe. Iya.
Kita Alpit dokter mana nih yang katanya diamond tadi tuh?
I'm not
Diamond nih,
tired.
disenggol
Are
dong.
you?
Gitu dong.
Operator. Gila, montek nih Pin.
Botnya emang nge-lag apa gue yang nge-lag?
Gak tahu aku nih.
Pin, request aja Pin.
Ya Pin.
Botnya emang nge-lag apa gue yang nge-lag?
Oh, botnya ngeliat.
Time for a field test.
Drop.
Kau nggak record lo?
Yang beda 100 aja.
Bukan, gua minta Reaper.
Lu nggak request.
Gua mau minta Reaper.
Ngomong dong, drop.
Razi.
Tapi sini Pin.
Blocking sight. Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Loh, ngebak anjing.
Placing swarm grenade. Swarm grenade out.
Gue kirim. Gue yang kirim.
Turret down.
Montek. Ya, diliatin.
Ada lagi Pin. City.
Gua di City, gua di
Apa,
City.
Jadi 2 ya?
Ya, gua di City.
One enemy remaining.
Gila, Alpi montek. Kita lihat permainan dari seorang
Alarm bot out. Paint check. Charges check. Brakes.
Pin Oni, pin aku mau jadi Re47.
Udah satu murah. Cuma FPS. Ya mau gimana kan namanya juga murah.
Mana bang senjata speknya bang? Bang. Kita lihat Bang Atta. Pas toprak langsung jumawa dia kemana-mana.
Bye-bye di flash ini di sini. Thank you.
Wah, kan goyang-goyang. Nanti goyang-goyang, Pin. Nah, udah.
Satu sana. Dua di sana berarti.
Satunya dari mid, satunya dari mid. Masukkan.
Wall raised. Placing alarm bot.
Gitu ya.
Masa.
BB masuk kan.
What the fuck? Kenapa klik kanan?
One enemy remaining.
Kasih ini berarti. Kasih aku Pin.
Depan gua di.
Itu loh.
Masih kah?
Kasihan dia.
Last round before the switch.
We cannot keep our group active.
Gila Darkojie, mulai jumawa dia.
Ya mau nih bos.
Wah. Gimana Pin pendapatnya?
Ayo abang Diamond.
Kenapa nggak warna hitam ambil Pin? Biar lebih Rai 47.
Armor di.
Ada skin OP? Skin OP?
Enggak ada.
Quick peeks
Atura
now.
belinya yang
Jasmine.
hemat anjing, yang kepake doang.
Iya.
Sama Vandal Phantom. Sama Spectre.
Astaga.
Still off your feet.
Bodo amat. Nice one.
Player standing.
Oh, oke.
Balik. Balik shotgun.
Balik.
Switching sides.
Stuff has malfunctioned yet. Can we
Gila,
celebrate that?
Enggak sekarang anjing.
Nah, sekarang Ji.
Ngomong
Nanti judge.
lu mah. Ada shotgun gua semangat.
Lu mah mikir dong.
Apa kontol udah.
Tapi ya sebenarnya yang bagus shotgun tuh cuma gua, Made, sama Reis. Lu berdua rifle baru.
Emang nggak boleh gua shotgun? Oke.
Ya, masih jarak jauh.
Karena lu nggak bisa kabur anjing.
Heeh.
Made bisa kabur pakai wall, pakai slow.
Kan enggak pakai. Slow. Saya adalah pengguna slow.
Pengguna slow diri sendiri ya deh.
Enggak. Kalau bener tuh kau tahu kan enemy enggak gerak. Gila.
Nggak bisa, nggak gerak. Kau kira Dota
Enggak
ya?
jadi badi.
Kau kira MOBA apa?
Itu jadi jongle.
B nih.
Turret destroyed.
Pakai lo 100.
Bomb grenade out.
Serius? 100.
Spike down B.
Hah?
Reloading.
Backside.
Masih tak betul.
One enemy remaining.
Wih, kita lihat Alpi. Smoke.
Blocking sight.
Wih, kita lihat Alpi nge-pick. Pick.
Last player standing.
Jadi dia commit ya.
Sengit itu kan dia. Tapi di
Kayaknya commit.
30 seconds left. Ten seconds left.
Wih, gila. Is teriak nih bos itu ya.
Udah boleh belum? Udah boleh belum?
We are
Udah boleh belum?
strong because we are together.
Udah.
Don't forget that.
Nah, baru shotgun.
Shotgun kok banyak pelurunya?
Ya banyak lah. Gimana sih?
Ini dong, pas 12.
Lu set up dulu, babi. Nggak set up dia. Mentang-mentang shotgun.
Turret out. Placing alarm bot.
Enemy spotted A.
Nggak jadi ke-scan.
Sih banyak ke-scan.
Sini, dekat sini.
Enemy spotted mid. Good attempt.
Bisa dilihat. Kayak alok nih.
Masuk ke.
Sorry ya.
Bye. Bot coming back.
Itu loh anjing. Mati bang.
One enemy remaining.
Spike
down.
Kiri.
No more.
Nice spray control. Sangat tai tapi. Berapa peluru lu itu?
Match point.
Their winter has come.
Orang-orang bilang
Nice control. Tahi. Ayo ada tahinya.
Blade gua.
Darkojie jumawa.
Res.
Diamond nih, senggol dong bos.
Iya.
Res.
Diamond kok di bawah bang.
Request.
Lagi ngeprank ya bang.
Ngeprank bang.
Oh ngeprank. Jadi
Ini harusnya kena kan palanya ya?
Harusnya.
Placing swarm grenade.
50.
B.
Deh, jangan mati deh.
Swarm grenade out.
Habis dari
di spam cok ada lagi. Itu low banget tuh. Ada lagi. Bola di sini. Dia yang buruk menggunakan semua shotgun.
Reload. Last player
Ada
standing.
enemy. Preman shotgun anjing.
Terus goblok kau tembak apa anjing?
Rasa nih bos, senggol dong.
Itu ada yang mau
Hold
nanya
an area
duitnya.
pretty well myself. Make sure to cover the angles I can't.
Oke, karena mereka ngajak tempur. Kukunya beli shield dong minimal. Setup juga dong.
Ada duit bos itu.
Itu loh 1900 kan. 1990 kok. Kemerdekaan. Kobe lagi.
Dia lepas aja deh kalau mau.
Ngomong gampang kan. Salat berdua di sana. Ada lagi. Banget plan.
Mati lu goblok.
Spike planted.
Itu satu.
Geforce.
One enemy remaining.
Last backside.
Anjing.
Satchel up.
Reloading.
Udah deh, fighting.
Reloading.
You failed.
Reloading.
I am the hunter.
Defenders win.
Musuhnya ada ngomong nggak?
Ada banyak.
Wah,
Ada ngomong nggak musuhnya?
Ada banyak.
Mah bohong.
Banyak dia ngomong tapi kan
Ngomong apa?
Gak tahu. Sensor.
Oh iya di sensor.
Bapak, kau Bapak. Kau bapak.
Satu cok. Wah, astagfirullah. Tobat deh.
Tobat.
Enggak itu kurang.
Aduh,
Enggak itu. Pin, jangan main pin. Itu pancingan dari Valorant pin, percaya aku pin.
Gimana, masih mau lanjut?
Enggak tahu lah. Ini pancingan pokoknya cok. Kalau lanjut bisa kalah, bisa menang.
Iya.
Jadi mau lanjut apa enggak?
Bebas.
Gua sih paket loss. Tapi
Ya.
enggak tapi pengen lanjut gitu. Tapi paket loss.
Elah.
Hah? Lanjut gak?
Ya udah, tuh sabar aja dulu. Rehat. Kalau kata orang.
Hah?
Kalau kata orang rehat.
Darkojie live bodoh. Mana rehatnya anjing?
Oh iya juga. Dia live ya.
Udah aneh.
Nggak tahu.
Mana sih?
Kok hilang semua ini?
Tahu. Oi.
Nah, udah.
Gua restart modem dulu dah.
Restart modem. Tuh, oi. Lanjut itu.
Loh. Oh enggak, kirain kabur Made.
Deh.
Apa?
Lanjut itu.
Kabar. Yang keluar siapa itu?
Alpi.
Alpi gak gentle Alpi.
Anjing.
Alpi sebelah katanya lagi ngapain ya? Punya kucing.
Halo, saya mau mengganggu.
Iya bang.
Halo Kak
Ih, udah bisa ngomong.
Lagi bisa ngomong.
Ya udah, ntar aku balik sini lagi habis live stream. Belum bisa ngomong.
Halo.
Udah bisa lama-lama Jiji, kemalaman nggak bisa.
Jam berapa maksimalnya? Jam 9 apa sini? Jam lagi. Ya udah kalau nggak gini. Nanda closingin punya gue dong sekarang.
Kenapa?
Dar closing Dar.
Gua nggak bisa banyak ngomong, lagi pakai masker nih.
Iya, bagus dong.
Kamu suruh Nanda yang
Nanda closing Nanda.
Hah? Gimana?
Closing Nanda.
Thank you guys yang udah nonton. Jangan lupa di subscribe channel Darkojie. Terus di like juga, di share juga ya.
Okay guys, thank you and see you next time in next stream.